Making adjustments count, dashboard. General disclaimer to the dashboard series. Some additional configuration may be required in order to leverage some of this functionality. An experienced IBP resource should be able to add the missing pieces to fit your existing business process and planning area. Questions this dashboard answers. Is our statistical forecast working? Do we need to improve our forecast models? Do we need more tool training? Overview. Percentage statistical forecast over the consensus no promo error. Less than 100% means that our statistical forecast error was better than our consensus demand no promo error. The goal is to be higher than 100% because it means that your adjustments have improved the forecast. So we can see here in July, the number was less than 100%, which means the statistical forecast was better than our adjustments afterwards. And here's an example during COVID where the consensus demand was significantly better than the statistical forecast. The alert adjusted consensus demand quantity plus or minus 6 months. This tells us how many times our combinations we overrode the statistical forecast. So almost 70% of the time. The goal is to be as low as possible so that you only need to intervene as little as possible and are allowing the system to do the heavy lifting. So 70%, almost 70% of all your combinations is pretty high. 37% is better, but it's still pretty high. Alert adjusted consensus demand quantity by ABC-XYZ. So this is the same key figure, just instead of monthly buckets, it's broken down by ABC-XYZ. The goal here is to be adjusting A items over C items, as well as adjusting Z items over X items. So you want to be adjusting the upper left, the AZ items, as opposed to the CZ lower right items. Sorry, the CX items. Stat versus consensus quantity is how much bigger or smaller was the statistical forecast quantity than the consensus demand quantity. So you can see here during COVID again, it was the consensus was almost 3.5 times larger than the statistical forecast, or off. The goal is to be as close to 100% as possible, since it shows you are leveraging the forecast model effectively and need minor adjustments. And finally, we have the adjustments by type. What kind of adjustments are you making? There are 3 types of adjustments that are possible. One is directly to the statistical forecast itself because you think it's wrong. There's also the adjustments for the sales uplift, so promotions, as well as just the generic collab override. The goal is to be mostly adjusting the sales uplift, since there's no way IBP would know about these. The other adjustments mean that you don't have your forecasting model working optimally. You can see here that most of these adjustments are directly to the statistical forecast quantity. Time to leave the nest. To use this dashboard, you need to log into production. You need to find the tile for dashboard. You can either search for it or it's usually at the top of your screen. It'll come up with a list of all the dashboards, and you need to find the making adjustments count. And then when you click on it, you'll get the filter at the top. You need to watch your filters, see a DP power user if you find yourself unexpectedly in the deep end. For example, some things you might want to be aware of. You'll want to lag the data by either a 0 or an 8 for weeks. You do not want to include some locations like direct imports or something like that. You will probably want to filter by business planning unit, unless you want to see every single business unit in IBP. And you can also filter by any additional attribute that relates to a product location and or a ship to customer. So you can knock yourself out by seeing how much you've been adjusting Amazon or Walmart. Again, thanks for watching Practical IBP. Don't forget to like or subscribe.